Hello, everybody. Oh, man. Right on time. Holy shit. Super precise. Yeah, sorry to interrupt the chair stream. Let's see. After 2 weeks, finally back at home. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Zine has a lot of work being done on it right now. Today I learned EPUBs are actually just XHTML files. Oh, no. I would need to look more into this stuff, I guess. There's going to be a moment where I start going down the book rabbit hole, I guess. Okay. Let us get started. Okay, so here's the plan, everybody. What's happening here is that we have to implement new block semantics compared to what we implemented last. I had a moment where so what are blocks for people who are not in the know? Blocks are, let me refer to my docs, since I've spent a bunch of time writing them. So blocks work like this. Maybe I can show an example here. So if you haven't seen them yet, they work like this. You can, well, you know what? Let's go to the dedicated section. That's easier. So you have your markdown content. You can define blocks. When you define a block, everything after the block, up until you encounter another block or the document ends, is part of that block. And a block is like just a div. It's one div around a bunch of stuff. And then here in this example, there's one, and then there's a second one. The second one has an ID, so it also gets an ID. Now, this is not super exciting by itself, although it is somewhat. But it becomes more interesting once you basically mix this with the ability to render only a specific block from a page, not the entire page all at once, but only a certain block. In any case, so this is one interesting thing. The other one is so right now the syntax that you're seeing here doesn't work. It's not allowed. The only syntax supported is this one, and it doesn't exactly generate what I claim it generates here, because I need to basically update block semantics to match what I put in the documentation. The reason why I decided to put something different in the documentation is because as I was documenting things, I realized that I need to make some adjustments to the design. Nothing crazy, but like this is definitely the most preferable solution, the most preferable way of implementing blocks. So long story short, right now this is the syntax that's allowed, but what this syntax does is give the ID to the heading element, and we don't want to give the ID to the heading element. Hi, I'm learning Zig with Ziglings, and I have a problem with problem 65, line 74. Yes, I can try to have a quick look. Line 74. Uh-oh, there's nothing in line 74. Are you using a specific version? Let me see if there's maybe a tag. Oh, still an empty line. I guess we meant maybe 73. Is this one indexed? Yeah, it is one indexed. Okay. But here, we seem to have done something wrong when calling this function. We called it as a method, which would work if it had a self parameter, but it doesn't. See above. The fix for this is very subtle, but it makes a big difference. Yeah. So you have an instance of Narcissus, and you're calling this function on it. Since you're calling it on an instance of this type, this syntax implies that you're calling this function passing a self parameter, like passing this guy as the first argument. But this function doesn't take a Narcissus as its first argument. So because it doesn't do that, then you have to call this function on the type itself, not on an instance of the type. So you need an uppercase n here. Making this n uppercase calls the function on the type, doesn't refer to any like instance of Narcissus, so that doesn't, so the function gets called correctly, long story short. And that's it. Hello, C3PO. Okay, let's go implement these new block semantics. Our adventure starts, by the way, as I was doing things, is it like a Rust associated function? I am not sure because I don't know what a Rust associated function is. It's just how methods work in Zig. Zig has methods. I keep using air quotes because they're not really methods in the full sense, but it just has syntax sugar for accepting a for being able to do dot syntax on it. But it's still just a normal function. Okay. By the way, I've been writing all these new docs and like working on the Zine website. All the new stuff that I added has made it so much nicer to make it. Like it's just so good. Is it having a function in a struct implementation that has to reference to self? Yes. Placing a function in struct implementation makes it so that when you... So, if the function is 1, placed in the struct implementation, and 2, the function accepts an instance of the type as the first argument, if both things are true, then you can use dot syntax. Otherwise, you can't. Dot syntax on an instance of that type, I mean. And that causes the first parameter, the first argument, to be automatically filled out by the instance of that thing. Okay. Let's go. Our adventure starts from Zine AST. Not this one. Maybe yes, this one. Yeah. So we parse in Markdown, and we encounter, let's see. Let's start from the beginning. Very curious to learn Zig as well. Ziglings, so if you go to ziglings.org, that's a great way of getting started learning Zig. It's also linked from the official Zig website. Like if you go on the official Zig website and then do learn, and in the learn page, you scroll a bit, you will find Ziglings. Or you just can go to ziglings.org, and it's very good to get started. Okay, so we have a block quote, a list, an item, a code block, an HTML block, custom block, paragraph, heading, thematic break, footnote, definition. Interesting. Links don't exist as a top element, so I guess they only exist within a paragraph, maybe? I would be curious to know what the AST of something that just contains a link element, what that would look like. You know what? I'm also thinking maybe what we should hijack is the thematic break. I don't think we can. Well, that would require changing the parser. We're not doing that yet. But okay, analyze paragraph. I think what we want to do is analyze paragraph. And paragraph analyzes all siblings. As we analyze siblings, if we find a link, then we run the link as the link's script if it has a script in it. Okay, and that gives us a directive. And then if the directive is a block, we complain, block outside heading. We're changing this now. Blocks are allowed outside heading, but the block has to be, it cannot have anything before it. So if a block must be the first element in a block, well, let's call it a block directive, must be the first element in a markdown block, because that thing is also called a block. Or maybe I should say paragraph. I don't know. It is called paragraph. Although, actually, does it have to? Do we actually even care? Do we actually even care? So you know what the problem is? The problem is that the problem is that a link is not a top level element. Man, that is busting my plan so hard. Custom block. How does this stuff even look like? Let's take a look at the CMark stuff. CMark GFM extensions. What do we have in here? Outlink. Core extensions. Strike through table. Tag filter. Task list. None of those is particularly interesting to me. Although table is a block. Okay, so table shows up as a custom block. I'm guessing that's what's going on here. We might be in need of new syntax. I was trying to avoid this, but we might be in need of new syntax. I think I need to... Do we have like some kind of debug formatting for this bad boy? Please? Oh yeah, we do have format errors, sections, directive. Oh, that formatter is not the super greatest, but I'll take it, I guess. Let's add a new test and let's try to make it fail. Oh, look at this one. Basics. Me likey. Yeah, okay, so the problem here is this. The problem is we're trying to use this guy as a top-level element when it is not a top-level element. So I believe that it will always have a paragraph surrounding it. The only thing that we can do is either make it so it's the first element of a paragraph or it's by itself. Which, it's kind of the same thing, right? First element of a paragraph being by itself. And then we give that as a property to the paragraph. And that's where it begins. So a paragraph can only begin and not end. Yeah. Do you put the test in the same file as a good practice in Zig? You do put the test in the same file normally with Zig. Do you have to? No. You can also put the test somewhere else. But it is not uncommon to have tests in the same file. There's one superpower that a test in the same file has, which is the ability to access private properties. But conversely, you could purposely put a bunch of tests in a separate file so that you basically look at those tests as using the public interface, testing the public interface of something. So you do it, putting tests in the same file. It's fine. It's considered fine. It's not mandatory. And you might have reasons to not want to do that if you want. Lastly, there is one special kind of test that must be next to the decal it wants to document, and that is I believe we call them decal tests or doc tests. I don't remember which one of the two, but they look like this. Test. Let's imagine the Simulcasting is public and people might use it, and so I can do this. I can create a test that instead of having a textual description, it has as a name a decal that exists in this scope. And what this means is that this test here is not really meant as a unit test, but it's meant to be as a usage example. It will still be run as a normal test, but it will also be included in auto-generated documentation. So it will show up as a usage example test. And those, I believe, need to live next to the thing they want to document. You cannot put them far away. And you can test anything that is a decal. So types works, variable instances works, functions also works. Okay, top level. Okay, you know what? At this point, I don't even think we need that at this point. I'm happy with what I was going for. So analyze siblings. A block director must be the first element in a markdown paragraph. That's it. Period. So if current node is n dot prev. Does it even have a prev? No definition found. Oh, it's prev sibling. Give it to me. Fuck. Okay, let's go into the definition of node. What do we have? Parent, first child, next sibling. Come on, give me the prev sibling. Is this a thing? No definition found. Fuck. Oh, previous. Wait. What are we calling these functions on? Oh, nothing. Okay. I wish the documentation of the standard library had more tests like these as examples. The doc of the standard library is very sparse and unequal, to be honest. Some modules are well documented, others are completely undocumented. Yes. The state of development of Zig is that the compiler is still being worked on extensively. So the standard library is there, it's useful, but it's also not the focus of development. So there is a, how can I say, like a polish pass that has to happen in the future to make it, more precise, decide exactly what belongs to the standard library and what should not be there, document everything nicely, etc. And all of this is going to happen at some point in the future, just not yet. Wouldn't it be suffice to check if current equals start? Yeah, do we have start? The problem is that start is optional. I think that, or maybe it's being given to us as an optional, as a form of courtesy. I think it's being given to us as an optional, as a form of courtesy. Okay, you're right. No, you know why? Wait. The problem here is that, okay, the reason why this is called analyze siblings and not like analyze children, it's because sometimes I think we're being called on the parent element. Sometimes we're being called on the first element inside of it or the second element. So, yeah, no. The problem is that this is being used. The reason why this function is not like well structured, or it's just like just scanning forwards from a point onwards, it's because it's being used in a very promiscuous way. What are some of the major changes that the core language that will be included before 1.0 for sure? Custom backends, incremental compilation, review of the standard library, language specification, decide what to do with async await. Async await was part of the language, now it's not anymore, but not because it has been completely like abandoned, but because there are some questions that need to be answered before it can be added back in the new implementation of the compiler, which is the one that we're using now. Package manager, complete. I would say that's mostly it. There's a ton of like smaller language features that need also to be implemented. That's mostly it. Oh god, I typoed it even. So this is typoed. And then this didn't even get changed. God damn it. Unused capture. Yeah, for now it's unused, but then we're gonna have better error reporting, and then we're gonna be able to use it. Okay, so analyze siblings, runs the script, gets a directive back. What does running the script entail? Actually running the script. Validation, setting the directive, giving a directive to the current node. Setting the directive to the current node. The problem is that this is, okay, so I see this happens here, and that is fine. But we also want to give the directive to the paragraph. So how do we do this? Or, you know what? No return, we just do an else. Okay, otherwise, if it didn't have any previous siblings and we're happy with it, then we give it to the paragraph. How do we do this? I guess we need to go up to the parent. Because we know that this is a link, but we don't know anything about its context. Let me think about it for a moment. We're inside a block. Let me trace everything again from paragraph. Paragraph straight up calls analyze paragraph. Analyze paragraph says analyze siblings starting from the first child. It's mostly the same for the other ones. Is there any form of recursion? We don't recurse at all. That is also interesting, although probably kind of fair. Kinda being the keyword. Let's see. So most retooling, no much changes in the language itself, apart from async await, which is also a big headache in Rust, apparently. Async await is actually, from a usage perspective, extremely smooth in Zig. It is very weird how well it blends with the language. But there are some somewhat related questions. They're not about async await specifically, but they're about other aspects of the language, about the memory model. And depending on the answer to those questions, then async await would need to be implemented in a different way. And in the extreme case, it wouldn't maybe be able to be implemented in a good enough way, depending on what ends up happening on the other front. And so, like, an extreme could be that it's just not worth having it anymore because we decided to go for another trade-off somewhere else. But from a user perspective, it's significantly different than in any other language. If you want an example, or if you want to know what I mean, check this out. Okay, analyze siblings, pref sibling, add error. Otherwise, you know what? I think I do want the return. I don't want to nest because we're going to need to go deeper in any case with an if. Something like this. Wait, no parent? Or it's... I think it's complaining about this. Okay, we get a node. So now we need to check that the parent is a paragraph. How do we do this? We need to switch on node type. The node type is different than the paragraph. Then we need to add an error. Okay. And if we reach here, then we're finally happy and we can give the paragraph this directive. Is this an optional? It is an optional. Wait, but I think we can safely assume that this works because we're nested in something. Otherwise, we wouldn't be analyzing siblings. I hope. So set directive. Let's see. GPA or p.gpa. Data. That's the directive. Are we copying the directive by doing set? Yes. Oh, shit. That's inefficient. Probably want to copy it only once. It's okay. Whatever. Okay, so... Okay, with this, we are giving the directive to the paragraph itself. Hopefully everything works nicely. What is the problem now? So we have this directive given to the paragraph, which is great. The link also has this directive, but that is fine. I think we know what to do with that. Alternatively, we could just straight up delete that node. We could totally delete that node. Well, okay, in now we have analyzed this, and then when we render stuff, now things are more complicated. Let's see, heading, path, blah, 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 next sibling, event. So now, previously, if we were looking at a heading, entering a heading, first we print this, then we check if there's a directive, and then we print the ID. Oh boy, is it now so very different. So we want a variable. Open div. Starts at false. Then we're entering a heading. First question is, does it have a directive? And the fact that it has a directive tells us that it's there's definitely a div. Now we need to check for the ID stuff. So we print the div. If it has an ID, we print the ID. Then we close it. Then we print the heading. Also, the heading might have an ID, so we also do this. Hello, CryptoCode. Did sticky scroll stop working, or did you move to the mainline branch? I disabled it at some point as I was developing, but now I'm going to bring it back. I just need to implement the updated semantics for blocks, and then that use case will be fully solved, and I will totally add it to the documentation website. Also, the fact that it has a directive doesn't tell us if the directive is a block directive, or it might be even just a simple link directive. So we need to, I guess, switch on it somehow. Because previously, I wasn't really caring about which directive it was. But now this seems problematic. Now, let me think. No, right. The only thing that a heading could have is there's no ID. Class goes here. The only heading Okay, I think I'm going insane, so give me a sec. Okay, a heading. So we are unable. So does that mean that we're unable to style headings this way? No, we do that through the block directive. So styling a heading requires using the block directive. Or, that's annoying. That's an annoying corner case in the current design. because we can style and give classes to the contents of a heading, but not the heading itself. With the current tools at our disposal, we are unable to style the heading itself. Because now these styles go to the block. I think it's fine. That's a small price to pay. I guess we'll find a way of fixing it eventually. So yeah, as the code shows here, we don't have any code that styles the heading itself. We style a div around it via a block directive, but that's it. But I mean, what can you do? Like, such is life, I guess. I do use styling the heading though in somewhere in my code. Yeah, we might need to solve this problem at some point differently. I guess for now this is fine. Okay, so we print the heading correctly. And on exit, we try to close the heading. We don't try to close the div though. The div closes. The div closes here. If there is a directive and if what is it? Open div, then we close the div. Well, actually, toggling open div is not interesting because we're going to toggle it on right away. Okay. Then I think at the end of the document. So I guess on the document itself. No, it's just at the end of the while loop. Okay. Okay, what we need also from the parser is that, yeah, we give the directive to... You know what? Actually, the copy is actually good. Oh, wait. Actually, what do we do with this one? So this is... right, this is a... this is a block directive nested somewhere else, not in a heading. So never mind that. never absolutely mind that. So here we have done the heading thing. What about the one in paragraph? So paragraph. If parent and grandparent is a list and it's tight, then don't print the paragraph. Jesus fucking Christ. Otherwise, print the paragraph. But the paragraph right now can also have a block with it. So we're about to enter the paragraph, and then we have to ask ourselves the question of, do we have a block directive? And I think it's kind of like this. So if we have a directive, then we close the previous div if we have to. We open the div if we have to. We print its properties. And then we continue normally. Okay. So this also works. Next is, you know what? Maybe we could also say, if there is nothing else in here, like if there's only, if it doesn't have children, but to ask if it doesn't have children, we might want to delete the original node, which we can totally do. Well, okay, if it has a directive, here's what we can do. We can assert that it has one. So we can do if node dot first child dot question mark dot next sibling is null, then continue. And then in exit, we avoid printing the opening stuff. If it has a directive. Probably mutating the original thing is not a bad idea. But for now, I think it's fine to implement it like this. Okay. So then next is link. Link has render directive. Problem is, oh, block does nothing. Oh, that is delicious. Yes, the block directive should do nothing. Thank you. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, that's perfect. Then what do we do next? There's one last thing that we need to do. In the parser, when we analyze a heading, what happens? Let's take a look at that. See a heading, call analyze heading. Analyze heading does first child. If the first child is not a link, then we do the normal analyzation. If the first node is a link, and it has nothing afterwards, I don't think we care about this right now. I think we should allow it having stuff afterwards if they want to give it to it. Or we should return an error, honestly. So maybe before checking this, let's check if it has a script. Grab the directive. Because it could very well be just a normal link. And so, yeah, let's check if it's actually a directive. So grab the directive. And we find out that it's actually a block directive for real. At that point, we check if it has a sibling. And if so, the result is not that we break a block, but that we do something about it if we want to. Although we don't really want to. As I was saying, could leave it there. Not the end of the world. Then directive ID section put. Okay, we're analyzing the heading. And we are giving the directive to the heading. So we set the directive. Yeah, so this copies it. And then we mutate the original one. Okay, so the original one now. Yeah, we set it. That's what we set on the original node, and that's what we return, right? Copies, sets the copy. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I guess what we want to check is, oh, we can grab the ID here. Also, wait a sec. A few things are happening. This is giving the directive to the heading. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so directive.kind is why are we copying outside of this? Shouldn't we copy the directive only if the text has a block? Yeah. This stuff should happen in here. And this can be moved here. No, actually, This is fine because this should be an error. Let me think about it for a moment. Yeah, a heading block thing must have an ID. Hey Ninjatron, yes, this is going to be another cataclysmic update. There is so much new stuff coming to it. I think this is going to be the last huge update for a while. Like after this, it's starting to get really close to the actual expected user experience. So link. And to this link, what we want to do to it is set a ref to we want ref set to the ID. I think that's it. What about source? Source needs to be set to something, doesn't it? Yeah. But it also has an ID. That we need to reset. And authors also need to be an empty list. Let's see. Zine executable would be kind of cool to indie projects or something like that. Yeah. I think that I know what I want to do in that regard. I actually want to eventually move to a fully single executable Zine. As I'm implementing more features, I'm realizing that more and more we would actually benefit a ton by having a single executable that does everything. Not just in terms of having, a nice init command, but also in terms of not reparsing the same pages over and over n squared times. That kind of thing. Well, n squared is like the worst case. But the problem is that if you have 10 pages, that spins up 10 processes. And those 10 processes, if you have something that lists subpages, something that does prev next page, that kind of stuff, then it means that 10 executables, 10 processes, sorry, will parse the same pages, each one of them. And since you have n pages that can reference n minus 1 pages, they can reference also themselves. So they can reference n pages, but that one you already have. So long story short, it's n times n minus 1, the worst case scenario. And we could totally benefit from having multi-threading, being able to, parse a page only once and say, yeah, we did it once. And now everybody can enjoy the result. Okay, let's see how far we get with this. Instead of using the build system, yes, instead of using the build system. So that would mean basically decoupling Zine completely from the Zig build system. That said, I would still want to offer an interface to Zine that is through the Zig build system. Meaning, if you're a normal user of Zine, maybe you're not even a software developer, you just want to make a static website, then you use the executable. If you're a Zig developer and you want, for example, the ability to reference, assets built through the build system, then you can import Zine as a library, and you still have the ability to wire everything. But internally, Zine will work in its own standalone manner. So, long story short, you can kind of have the best of both worlds, roughly speaking. Because the reality is that even though we could keep Zine in the build system, you don't gain anything by doing that. Like, as a user, there is nothing new that you get empowered to do through that system. So the only thing that you care about is the ability to define build assets and hand them to Zine. And so that works just as well if Zine were to be more standalone. So ultimately, our usage of the build system is mostly an implementation detail. XZ plus build Zig lib is a nice combo. Yeah, and the idea is that if you're using Zine through the Zig build system, then you still build it. And that way we can offer you also the ability to personalize part of Zine, by providing, for example, a Zig library. Like, you provide a submodule, and your submodule maybe implements, some sub-functionality. So instead of it being strictly a sub-process, it can be still personalized just through in a different manner through the Zig build system still. Yeah, we can really have the best of both worlds. No joke. Have our cake and eat it too. Yeah, and it's actually, it's actually not that hard. I'm still a little bit far away from it, but it's absolutely doable. Now watch me fuck up all these ASD code. Like, watch me completely butcher it. Okay, I changed the signature. Yes. Oh, I did change the signature, and we're missing one thing in the HTML stuff. We're missing exit conditions. Yeah, we're missing exit conditions. Freak. Okay, let's check out exit conditions. So exit conditions that we care about are, is the current node const full page? So if we're starting to render the page from its root node, then we're rendering the full page. So if not full page and node level greater than 0 and node is block and node.n equals break. Yeah, no, this has to be more nuanced than this. So the nuance needs to be, we don't care about the heading level. We don't even care if the current node is a block or what. Oh, well, actually, this is actually nice. Oh, you know what? Then maybe I'll take this back. Let me think for a moment. Do we only do top level stuff, or we do also nested stuff in here? Oh, we also do nested stuff in here. So never mind, we do everything. Okay, let's see if I can restore that the previous conditional just in a simplified version. So if we're not rendering the full page and node is block and node is different than the starting node, and we break. We're not rendering the full page. We encountered a node that is also block. Okay, if we do this, the problem is that right now we are giving a... If we do this, right now we have the directive, the nested directive thingy. The problem is that we have the freaking nested directive thingy, which, by the way, please tell me that it's not the one that we put in the map. Oh, yeah. Of GPA IDH. No. The heading is what we put in the map. Here. What about the other case? Oh, yeah. We need to put stuff in the map also in the other case. Probably you're failing to do that. In the other case, directive block, look at prev. This way we give the parent paragraph directive. Then if there is an ID, this can turn in a normal if, I think. Because in this case, it's really optional. If there is an ID, we want to put in sections as this ID, the paragraph parent. Okay. The problem is that now we have this freaking nested shitty thingy. Boy, do we want to nuke this goddamn node. Like, that would solve all our problems, just nuking it. I think the problem is that if we delete this, then we are going to fail to find the next. We would need to copy the next before we delete it. What is the alternative? What is the alternative? The alternative would be that we'd always give a directive to links, even if they don't have scripts. That's what we're going to do eventually. I guess I can complicate this code here. I can take this out. And I can put it on every branch. The problem is that we have so many early returns. God fucking damn it. We have so many things. God damn it. And the problem is that N is also like, it still has pointers in it. So like we can't even copy it safely. That is so annoying. What we have here is horribly annoying. So I need to think what to do about it. Like, I think that if I try to run this, Yeah, with this state, these things will be broken every single time, I believe, because we will encounter one. Let me think about it for a moment. Because we are going to start from the paragraph. Unless we give... Unless we start from it whenever it's a paragraph. Now, the problem is that that won't do the rest of the stuff. Yeah, man. Okay, we really want to delete this stuff. It's just horrible right now. What if we just skip it? We do like one extra next. Let me think. Analyze siblings. Just do one extra next. Well, it wouldn't have to be here. Okay, so this is fine, I guess. Where would we do the next? When we're printing a paragraph, do we still do the current next thing? No, we still do the event stuff. We open a paragraph. I guess in both cases here, we want to do next. Event equals it.next. Okay, so let's see. We grab a directive. Next is either going to bring us to the end of this paragraph. I guess we want to do next twice. Do we set event? We do set event. Okay, so let me think. We go from the paragraph to the block ID enter to the block ID exit. No, because there might be something in here. We should validate that it doesn't have any child. Okay, let's assume that it doesn't have any child guaranteed. Then we do, this gives us to exit of this guy. And then the next here should get us to the enter of the next element. Okay, so this should be a good workaround. Let's assert that this thing doesn't have anything inside of it. So has to be a paragraph. Let's see, cannot have previous siblings. Then must not have text inside of it. Oh, this is nice. The range that we can complain about is the child range. This is actually really good. Okay. So this is also good error. Let's do the missing ID thing in the other one. Where is it? Oh, we're saying nested block directive. No, that's wrong. Must have ID. Okay, I think we might have solved everything. That seems a little bit too optimistic, but except the signature thing. Page. Error value type content directive is ignored. Yes. Okay, let's see. Is this now horribly broken or still normal? It's normal, although I'm not really using directives much. I am using them in scripty reference. Oh yeah. Fuck yeah, they do work. Okay, watch me give those bad boys now the treatment. Oh, this is gonna be so good. Actually, let me first look at the source code. Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah, this is so good. Okay, check it out now. We go into the CSS for scripty reference. What are these? What are those? Those are H1s. Honestly, I'm starting to think that maybe those shouldn't be H1s. They should be H2s. Probably wouldn't be bad for them to be H2s. Let me think. These are H2s. And these are H3s. You know what? Let's keep them like this for now. That's a different problem. So in any case, now we want H2s to be, no, H1s, sorry. Yeah. Position sticky top 0. Oh man, look at how good they are now. Oh, global scope success though. Global scope is not. Global scope is not being rendered as a section. That is the problem, and that's on me. In the way I generate these markdown files. So let's take a look at that. So in here, yeah, look at global. Let's regenerate these bad boys. There we go. Now global scope plays by the same rules. It even leaves a little bit too early. Like, what the fuck? Oh, because there's a son of a bitch nested paragraph in here. Did you check out Wukong? I saw it. Honestly, I'm not in love with it. I haven't played it though. I saw that it exists. I've saw some people play it. I don't know. It's fine, I guess. What is this? What is this paragraph here doing? This phantom paragraph is actually interesting because... Wait. Oh no. I think that's on me. I think I fucked up paragraph rendering. Oh no. And I fucked up paragraph rendering. It probably means that I fucked up like generating everything like for real. View page source. Oh no, man. Oh, this is gonna be painful. Oh, right. Everything is a single line, of course. Is there like, can I have, so, at least I can have line wrap, I guess. I wish I could have an in between. It's not, it's not the post correction AST view, but it's not this garbage. Like something in between, man. So P doesn't seem all that bad. What is going on in here? Let's see. Div ID global. Global scope. Closes DH1, opens DH2. Block. Anchor. Closes DH2. Paragraph. A content block. Blah, 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 blah. Closes the paragraph. H2. Code A, H2. Wait, closes a paragraph. I think we're having trouble here. An embedded page. So an embedded page is closing its paragraph, but it's not opening it. Yeah, we keep closing paragraphs, but we never open them. So I busted the paragraph opening code. Not the closing one, apparently, just the opening one. That's interesting. Oh, I bet you that this needs to go in here. Basically, the idea is, yes, this node does have a directive. And so only if it has a directive, we do the skipping and straight up the continuing. If so. Okay. I think it was as simple as that. Directive, P opens, P closes. Okay. Yeah, so now it's well formed. And so now I can scroll down and global scope still tries to leave a little bit too early. What the fuck, dude? Why are you like this? I guess this has something to do with spacing between things, like headings. Yeah, look, this H1 has sizable margin at the bottom, and I think it's the margin that makes it go away early. That's actually fine. It's not a problem, honestly. So good stuff working, and check it out. You're here, you click link, and it sends you to the top of link, which I think it's pretty neat. Honestly, I think that right now the only thing that I'm missing is the fact that these guys are not on the side. I think they should be on the. They should have a different styling, but that's the only problem. Linking between them works as expected. Let me see if we can make it, if it works also from other pages. So I'm looking at SuperMD basics, and at some point I said that something is an image, I think, and it links me to image, and I can scroll down, and it gets me to the top. Like, we have all the functionality that we want. Do you watch the Primagen streams? Sometimes a little bit. Honestly, if I'm free, I'm on Twitch mostly. So when I'm not streaming, I'm not always watching, because otherwise I would be streaming. But I do occasionally. I know that the Primagen streams. I know that he does Ziggs from time to time, that kind of stuff. Okay, so new block semantics, I think, achieved. So that's a success. Next one is going to be painful. I'm prefixing all the special attributes with a colon. So it's not text anymore. Now it's colon text, colon HTML, colon if, colon loop. Now I'm praying to fucking God that this doesn't require me to mess with the HTML parser, hopefully. But that's how we're gonna roll. So let's see. How do we make this happen? We go into Super HTML. Maybe here's another thing that we could do. We could force every attribute in CTX to be column prefixed. Yeah, nah. Okay, so colon, then we go in we need to go in AST as a starting point. So these are now the special attributes. I think everything else is still the same except the tests, because I think that the tests need to be updated also to account for the new logic. So I guess let's go do that. Not that it makes much of a difference, but Oh god. Okay, so we're failing our test here. Well, fuck. We were missing that column there. Do we pass it now? Oh, we actually pass it now. Oh, we are only having trouble because I forgot to update that one example, that one instance. Nice. What if I do it here too? Oh, I was hoping to see an error, but no. Oh well, we'll see. Okay, so we have updated the AST. Now there's more stuff that's broken because now we need to go in template. And the template analysis code is spicy. Such a bad feeling, yeah. Absolutely. Oh fuck, I'm fucking it up. How's this strategy coming along? It's coming along well. I am applying a few final adjustments. And it's actually great. Oh my god, I keep doing it. I keep forgetting about the damn colon. Okay, hopefully this is now better or something. Well, let's see if we can build something or not. Most probably get a compile error and see what needs to be done. Wait, what? This should all be busted though now. Something sus is happening. Oh no. Okay. Something is busted. This is good. Like the fact that we see weird artifacts, it's actually good. but we're seeing way too much. Oh, you know why? Because what's happening is that we're probably pumping a ton of stuff into attributes, but we're not escaping things correctly. You know what? It's time to also add proper attribute escapation. What is Zig? P.S. You're explaining it to a guy who is a bit sloshed. Zig is a programming language. It's the programming language that I'm used to write my static site generator. So my static site generator is inspired by Hugo in part, but it's also in some ways similar, in some other ways very different. Let's say that Hugo inspired me both in a positive and in a negative sense. A few things I would like to be the same as Hugo. A few things I would like to be different than Hugo. Not too different, but different enough. And a few things I wish were better than what Hugo offers. And that's why I'm making this static site generator. I don't know how to skip quotes. Let's see. Please just give me MDN, for the love of God. So eamp, equat, eapos. Okay. Okay, with this, we should be escaping stuff hard enough now that it shouldn't be able to bleed through if it's placed inside an attribute. Fuck. This is disappointing because it's making me confused as to what's going on. We do load Super HTML from the disk. Do we HTML save attributes? That's a question that would be worth asking ourselves. Oh, you know what? I'm also 100,000% forgetting something. Guaranteed. Okay, let's look at the code for normal attributes. To do implement this stuff, well, okay, this is block, so that's fine. What about... element superblock? Yes. We print the name, we evaluate the body, and yeah, we just print it straight up like this. No, dude. Yeah, we need to first HTML save it. Okay. Let's see if now we can finally... hell yeah. I'm flabbergasted that this is... Yeah, like this is what I would expect. How does it bleed through that way, though? Like, why do these quotes not get escaped? Why do these quotes not get escaped? By the way, escaping is even like this is not complete, but still, why are we allowing this stuff to bleed through? I think we're just not escaping anything here. Maybe I did it somewhere, but not everywhere that needed to be done. We're doing it inside element super block. Yeah. That's kind of where you would want it. I'm a little bit confused. I'm a little bit confused, and I feel like we're still missing something. Because I'm pretty sure that somewhere I have comparisons with, yeah, template. Oh, maybe template should also be columned. Oof. Super. Oh, there we go. ID. CTX. And never mind. Okay, so I did everything else correctly then. Okay, I need to understand then what we are not doing correctly in terms of escaping. The one part where I didn't do the escaping correctly was block, but because I thought that block was not even printing those attributes in the first place. Is it? Special attribute. To do implement this stuff. If it's not a special attribute, we skip. Only deal with special attributes. Out of curiosity, what if I completely break these things and I make them only print like a fixed string? What are you doing now? A few things are broken. That's good. But way too many things are not broken. How? Okay, clearly this HTML gets to... Wait, did I change it already to colon HTML? I don't believe this. Oh, no, you know what? Actually, I do believe one thing. Maybe most of this stuff is still in the HTML. Okay. Yeah, I have a bunch of stuff in here, but not this. This is weird. This should not be allowed. Page.content. How come that page.content is not being printed as a normal attribute? I'm so surprised. Oh, Matthew, also, I didn't recognize that it was you writing with Zigin. We're Zigin. Something is blowing my mind. Oh. Oh, you know what I did? Yeah. I did actually the wrong thing. I tried to escape what was already there normally. Yeah, this is in case it's not a special thing. This is where I come in and do things. Okay, I was doing the wrong thing. Absolutely. I don't know, like this? Yeah, better. Okay, the mystery has been solved. Now this will properly break successfully. Thank you. And now we can finally fix it. Pretty nice. Although I think the styling is still a little bit off. Because a few things are still not fully scripted. So this needs to be column text. Do we make it column template on extend? I don't know. That's so debatable. I don't know, man. Okay, layout. So let's see. Log. Text. Okay, so I should have updated everything. Okay. Figure they crash. Nice. Yeah, off by one. Super classic. Okay, we're really truly in pretty good shape, I would say. So we have updated this website to Zine to the new syntax for these attributes. The question remains whether we should update template or not. And honestly, I don't know. What's interesting is that if we were to force attributes in CTX to be coloned, then you wouldn't be able to do ctx.if, ctx.else, ctx. Which I don't know actually if it's a feature or not, or a flow. Yeah. Okay, for now, let's leave it at that. Now, the next to do it. So what's nice is that now we are properly fulfilling what we promised in here. Now we're doing it. Logic attributes, colon text, colon HTML, colon if. I think the table of contents is kind of not busted, but like it now needs to deal with a new case that it didn't have to deal with before. So that one is going to be interesting. I was trying to figure out what the random blue triangle in the middle of your screen was. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's my damn. Oh no, like I have to pick between two things. There you go. Yeah, it's my green screen. Also, this won't be printing stuff now. It's too big. Let's go verticalize these examples a little bit. With this, we could do maybe this. Yeah. The thing is that we're kind of lying. You know what? We're going to put a space to signify that they're actually not going to be strictly connected. But yeah, it's just to save space and not to make the example too big. Okay. One of my atom mergers just went through before the last CI run finished. It might be that the CI has actually finished and it's and the state is stuck. Like I think I've seen the state not update and get stuck in the past. Not guaranteed that that's your case. Started 3 minutes ago. Well, I don't know. Maybe it was very fast CI. It's yeah, the CI stuff is so janky. It's surprising to me that this stuff is this level of janky. I think it's GitHub's fault though. Man, Cthulhu, forgive me for what I'm about to say, but Azure actually, in my experience, is not as janky. Even though I believe that GitHub's Actions has migrated to Azure, but I think what's happening is that they're using the infrastructure, but then they have probably some janky integration between the two. And maybe that's what's causing things. Imagine a bunch of Ruby code completely untyped trying to parse ginormous data types, JSON messages that get sent back and forth, changed every fourth day, no types inside anywhere. Everything is, at best, stringly typed. Okay, let's continue our to-do list. So now we need to validate equal sign HTML code blocks. So for people who don't know what those things are, here's the full story. The full story is that, you know what? Since everybody's here, let me tell you a story of Markdown dialects and templating syntax for Markdown. So SuperMD is an extension of Markdown that adds scripty expression support. There are plenty of Markdown dialects in the wild that add new syntax to it, and there's also plenty of templating languages that allow you to template your Markdown content. The problem with the first approach is that the new syntax complicates an already overcomplicated language to parse, and it usually only solves very precise problems. The problem with the second is that, I should say the second approach, is that while Markdown, like Hugo shortcodes, does allow you to extend Markdown. Let's just say while templating. While templating, like Hugo shortcodes, does allow you to extend Markdown in a very general way, it usually translates into pulling layouting concerns into the content, which is the exact thing that we were trying to minimize by writing Markdown in the first place. And here I have these two columns example. Like, let's say, for example, that you would like to have the middle section of a page to have a 2-column layout. This is how you would solve it in CommaMark, which is by inlining some HTML. The funniest part about this is that these HTML elements are completely disconnected. It's not like the Markdown understands that these and these are the same things. It just understands that this is some HTML and this is some HTML. And then, luckily, these two open tags and these two, well, and this close tag, and well, everything comes together in the end and has semantic sense. But it doesn't have to. These are seen as completely separate chunks of HTML by Markdown, which is hilarious. And then you have MDX, which is like Markdown JSX. So like it's Markdown, but then you can also have JSX. Delicious. And so the idea is like, yeah, of course, if you're using MDX, would you really not be? Of course, you would import from leftpad incorporated row left and right, and then you basically do the same shit. Just like it's the same thing, but here you also gain like extra bloat as you did that. And then there's also Hugo shortcodes that kind of allow you to basically do the same thing as here, except that at least these will complain if the tags, open and closing tags, don't match, because they have to match. Like they are understood by the templating system. It's like, okay, cool. How do we do it in SuperMD? In SuperMD, we don't do any of this shit. We just define blocks, and then we let the layout sort it out, which is the whole point of having layout be decoupled from Markdown. Okay, so that brings us to design goals. The main design goal of SuperMD is to upgrade Markdown to a full-fledged markup format that is not dependent on HTML anymore. Markdown is oftentimes considered too simplistic for serious markup work, for example, creating a book, in good part also because of its ties to HTML. SuperMD doesn't allow inlined HTML and instead gives you the ability to define a variety of embedded assets through a unified syntax. It is planned for Zine to eventually gain support for generating PDFs and potentially other file formats, at which point it will be critical for the content markup language to have the ability to define embedded assets and styling elements without using HTML as a crutch. So we keep saying that we don't allow inline HTML, which is true because this is inline HTML. And if you put this, even though we are using a Markdown parser, if you put this, we smell it that it's HTML and we complain and we don't allow it. So that said, there is an escape hatch, and it's this bad boy here. SuperMD forbids inline HTML in order to make it possible to render content files to non-HTML formats. That said, sometimes one only plans to target HTML and would like to be able to embed, say, a YouTube video without too much fuzz. For those cases, you can still inlet. For those cases, you can still inline HTML in a content page by creating a equal sign HTML code block like so. So the idea is that you create a code block, you put an equal sign in front of the HTML, and now this bad boy is going to get inlined. The reason why I made this escape hatch is because, you know, it's like reasonable to say, oh, like I don't know, I'm on YouTube and I want to embed this thing, and so I do share, I click share, and then there's embed. And well, embed gives me an iframe. And so if I cannot place this iframe in my Markdown thing, like what the fuck do I do at that point? I guess we could do the thing where we say, yeah, we create $sign YouTube, and then you put the video ID, and then we need to mirror all the options that you can give to this thing. And it's like, it's a janky integration. It's overly specific. It doesn't solve the problem fully because, sure, now we have YouTube. What about Vimeo? What about something else? What about, I don't know, fucking Twitter tweets? So the only solution is you need to be able to paste an iframe if you really have to. And this allows you to paste an iframe. But at the same time, we don't want you to be able to do this kind of shenanigans. Like, you shouldn't be able to put some HTML that is like not fully well formed, and then some other malformed HTML, and then some more malformed HTML, which then automatically combines into one well-formed HTML. We don't allow that. Well, we shouldn't allow that. Right now we do allow that, and that's bad. We can actually test this claim. You know what? Actually, I'm not even 100% sure that it's gonna work as it should, but it's still not good. The point is that it might not work as well. Like, it might still not allow you to create malformed HTML that recombines into well-formed stuff, because it might add paragraph tags around things in a way that breaks your scheme. That said, it will still not error out. Instead, we want a hard error. Like, if the thing that you put in there is not well formed, you need to get a hard error from Zine. To do that, we need to parse basically what's in there before printing it out. So let's go do that. So where do we do equal sign HTML? That's in Zine, in the HTML renderer. Hey, Cat Peasant, hello. Thank you for the raid. Welcome, everybody. Hello, everybody. So, if any of the raiders wants to tell me what you guys were doing on the other stream, I will tailor my introduction to what we're doing here perfectly based on your needs. Or at least I'll try to. In the meantime, let's go find the equal sign stuff. There we go. User space networking. Okay. Serious stuff. Cool. Wait. Technically, users, like, if you're doing, I don't know, like React, technically you're still doing user space networking in some way. So were you like implementing your own TCP stack, or what? Or just like a TCP server and opening connections and juggling connections on a single thread, or spawning threads to handle them? In any case, cool. So I'm actually interested in the answer, but to give an introduction to what I'm doing to everybody, I'm working on a static site generator. So I'm writing a piece of tooling that reads Markdown files. Trying to implement your own TCP stack. Cool. So my tool takes in, you write Markdown files, you write HTML templates. My tool takes your Markdown files, your HTML templates, and produces, boom, templated content. What's funny is that it's a bunch of like languages that you have to juggle, and it's kind of a compiler in a sense, except that you're not, producing machine code, you're producing HTML. But the difference, it's subtler than what it might seem at surface level. So right now, I'm basically trying to implement a way for you. So I'm being very aggressive with my implementation of things, and I don't want people to inline HTML when they shouldn't. But I still want to leave some escape hatches. But also, I want to validate. So there's an escape hatch that I give to people to put inline HTML in their Markdown content. But I want that to be well-formed HTML, and if it's not, I'll freak out. Well, I want to report a hard error. So the main theme of Zine, which is the name of my static site generator, is that it really likes to report problems with the HTML as errors at build time, which is like the whole point is that you are building your website statically. You should be getting have errors be reported to you at compile time. You will be surprised how much that does not happen with static site generators normally. So using TON device, I could get data from the TON device, but couldn't decipher them yet. I see. Nice. Very cool. So we're trying to print this thing. Now, the question is, can we report errors from here without going insane? Or is this a bad moment? This seems to be a bad moment because we are, by now we're like grabbing the code and just printing it out. So this is not a good moment to complain about stuff, which is actually fair. I mean, yes, this is when we're doing this, but also it's kind of late. So let's go to where we load this data in the first place, which is in cache. Equal sign HTML? No. Dot code. There we go. We find a code directive. We look at the type of asset that we need to grab. There's more that needs to happen though. Let's see what happens with code. Panic.io. We look at the language. We call highlight code on it. If there's a language, we call highlight code on it. And then we set the URL field. Yeah. Yeah, enjoy your well-deserved rest. It's always stressful to stream. I know, usually when I'm done streaming, I'm just tired and I don't want to do anything, not interact with people, not anything else. So here we are saying, look, if you're doing code, directive kind code, we read the file. And then we try to highlight it if necessary. And then we place it there, either verbatim or by highlighting it. Code.language. But why am I ignoring the equal sign HTML? Oh, I'm probably not ignoring it. I'm probably special casing it in here. Do I? There is something There is something that is weirding me out. Where do we do this? Is it not a code directive? Block code. It has to be code. We grab the asset. We try to report an error. We read it. And then if there's a language, we try to highlight it. Okay, the answer to this conundrum has to be that we do something when we are in the equal sign HTML case inside of SuperMD. So let's look at the AST. There is nothing that mentions equal sign HTML. The fuck? Is it the directive itself that does something? No, wait. These are my directives. This is not one of my directives. We are not reading this data from disk. Right. I'm going down the wrong path. No, this is not it. What it is the code block item, which we analyze completely uncritically in here. Awesome. So, no, analyze code block. Yeah, no, friend. Now it's more complicated. Analyze code block. Also, analyze code block, I would expect it to have 0 or 1 child, right? So actually, code block shouldn't be analyze siblings. Code block should be either you have something in there or you don't. And if you do have something in there, then maybe we do something with the fans stuff, which right now we are not even looking at here. So there's a bunch of validation probably that we should do. Let's see. Get fans? Probably not. There is a fans function, but I don't know what it is. Fans info. Okay, so that gives me the fans. I guess we can do if fans.starts with equal sign HTML. So we are in a equal sign HTML fans. And now we want to get the code. Not fans. Okay, we grab the code. Text. Of course, there's no text. How do you get the contents of code node? Code node. Get node type. Oh, literal. Oops. Okay, we get the literal. So now we have the code. Now we're going to parse it as HTML. So that gives us... So where are we right now? We are in SuperMD. So that means that SuperMD depends on SuperHTML. I guess it has to. I mean, after all, why the fuck not? We're here. We're dancing. Might as well. Well, It seems annoying though, because you kind of wish that SuperMD didn't concern itself this much. It's actually, I think, more appropriate for the HTML renderer to be opinionated about the type of HTML that you put in there than the markdown thingy. But the truth is that I am giving you HTML escape hatch. It is part of the SuperMD syntax. So let's go. Why not after all? And I bet you that we don't even have Super HTML given to us. Now they should build the build script correctly, and then it should fail somewhere else. So that's nice. Okay, hopefully ZLS has picked up what the new situation is. Or maybe not. Okay, let's see. We have AST. GPA HTML AST source. Oh, right. We don't. Actually, we don't even care about Super HTML AST. We want the HTML AST. Absolutely. Source and language. Okay, so with this we are building an AST, and now we want to look for errors. Now the problem is we could, to make this work beautifully, we should do this, right? Scripty has its own type of errors, and then HTML also has its own special kind of error. Which actually could be just that. I think we do have that. Right? Well, AST.error probably. Yeah. Contains tag and main location. Now, how do we do this? Yeah, I guess we append them. Oh. Okay, so we append all the errors to our errors. And then, well, we'll continue working. Then I think that now the code that prints those errors should poop itself because it's missing some stuff. Also, let's see, expected type consuate found optional consuate. Jesus. Okay, better now? Better. Type not a function. Oh, yeah, that's actually fair. Okay, expected type consuate found optional consuate. Again. No field name HTML, no field name HTML in struct ast.error. Did I not just add it here? Oh, it's kind, right. Main, Jesus. What is gonna be main? Main, I guess, is gonna be the block range. Hmm. Yeah, I guess that's not bad. So now we should get an error that we don't know how to print those errors or not. Guess we don't give a fuck. Let's watch it complain though. I want to fail successfully now. So we actually do it. Maybe something less disrupting than this. Okay. No bueno. No bueno. No error found. The fuck? I guess we are returning at some point when we shouldn't. So how does it work? I guess we need to go into the HTML renderer. Code block on enter. We do node.literal. Oh, we do literal on the code block. That is one thing that we're definitely doing not in the same way in here. Please give me your complaints. Oh, there we go. We do complain now. This just says HTML. Let's make it do something better than this. Since we have the machinery. So where do we complain about this stuff? We complain in cache because that's where we build the AST for this bad boy. This is where we print the error, right? Yeah, for each error, we print this. Let's do this. So if it's an HTML error, then we have, I think we can actually print it. I think this guy should have printing logic. It has printing logic. The problem is we need to offset lines. It might not have the ability to offset lines. So where's my errors at? Print errors. So the AST has print errors. It accepts a path. And for each error, it just prints the fucking tag. Are you kidding me? God damn it, dude. That's not super advanced. That's on me. That's on me, and it is not super advanced. Really? God damn it. Wait a second. Is this actually the one that I'm looking for? Oh yeah, this is the one, because this is HTML. This is not super HTML. That's annoying. So what are we doing here? We can also do .range on the main location. This is interesting. Right, because these pans do support ranges. The problem is that that range will be absolutely horribly be misaligned, well, be wrong because it's embedded stuff. Although we can just say that is whatever this range was, plus one line. Like the problem with the range right now is just the line number. Okay, let's see. We print now something like note. How do we print notes normally in our context? Oh shit. Node. Oh god, why does it say node instead of node? note. The fact is that this thing works on the assumption that we're able to print a line, while I don't have a good self-contained way of printing lines of code, and instead we should totally grab some of this logic from somewhere. Like, what the fuck? I keep copy-pasting all this stupid stuff everywhere, and clearly a bad idea. But I'm not at that level of polish yet, so we can do it like this. Or we can switch over this. Yeah, you know what? Here's how we do it. So for every error, we print this. But for HTML errors, we do it slightly different. So instead of printing the error.kind, we print like it's wait, is this really just printing this? I'm so confused. Because this would be printing only token or AST, but that's not the case, right? This can do better than that. I guess we have to, basically we have to switch between these two. Oh no, we're doing it with the value. So that's how it works. We're switching and then we switch on the two things. Okay, so this is how it works. So this is good. Okay, so we print the HTML error. Oh, I guess we don't even need to duplicate then much. So we can do it like this then. Let's see. Tag name becomes switch error.kind. Does this build? Does, and it tells missing a tag. Okay, perfect. So I guess the next point is to make it point at the right line. And that's not done here, but it's done instead where we register that error in the first place, which is in AST. So the main is not block range anymore, but it's now error.main location.range. Although I think that this is going to be a type mismatch. It's the same kind of thing, but it's a mismatch. Oh, and range wants the source, I think. Yeah, expected root range, found root range, which is confusing, but these are two different types of ranges that come from two different packages, and that's the cost of business. Actually, this is, oh man. Is this a row call? I think it's a row call. This is going to be the HTML range call. I think it's something along those lines. What's the problem now, man? Oh. Yeah, I think it's something like this. Range doesn't have call. Oh, man. So this one does have row call. What does this one have? Of course, no way to know. Start and row call. What are you smoking, man? They both have. Oh. I'm dumb. Man, so many mistakes in this thing. Okay, this line almost makes sense. It just needs a +1 now. And apparently the column also needs a +1? What the fuck? Oh, that works. This name here is yeah, well, it is what it has to be. That's actually fair. Honestly, we could omit it at this point. It's really not providing any value. Okay, not bad. 312, 11, 312, 1. Order is a little bit weird, but fine. Is it actually correct? Oh, yeah, totally. That's perfect. Success. Like absolute success. So that's nice. We still have a few things to go. So we need to fix another bug in link directives. We need to check if we're adding dependencies correctly when doing $code. We need to rename all Markdown files to SMD because we're switching to Super Markdown. We need to double check that scripty reference docs have everything that they should have in them. And after this, we are pretty much good to go for the release. We only need to, at that point, we only need to complete one documentation page. I really like this. Like, this is coming along so well. Holy cow. Okay, let's do the link stuff. So the link adventure starts from context in Super Markdown. The problem is, up until now, we claimed that setting source was mandatory, but we also want to be able to link to the current page, which means, so ref. So source points at either a URL, an asset, a side asset, a build asset, or a page. Ref is for deep linking. It's an anchor. So, well, it's an ID. So it's the, hashtag ID that then links you to the specific part of the page. Now, if you're linking to your own page, you want to be able to set href without setting source and just setting like you do $link.ref. And the idea is $link.ref is linking to another part in that same page. But right now, this is not, doesn't work perfectly because the way it works is that if you call ref, well, linking to the current page works. It always works, but it's a bit of a hack. And the problem is that if you do $ref, if you do $link.ref and then you do $source after. So you first define the hashtag, the heading, well, the anchor, not the anchor, goddammit, the idea you want to deep link to, and then you try to set the page second. That's going to be an error, even though it shouldn't, because it's implemented a bit like an hack. So let's fix this. This can be fixed by doing this. These can be fixed by doing. Let's cause the error first, I guess. So let's go in the main documentation, guess. Actually, there's also a second problem. So because this works with our complaints, and I'm not sure it should. I mean, yeah, I don't think that this should. This is, I guess, good for like go to the top of the page, but I'm not sure this is good. So maybe we should also change something there. But in any case, so if you do this, if we first do the page stuff, if we do this, it doesn't complain. But if we change the order, it's an error. Scripty, field already set. Doesn't even say which field. God damn it. That's something we need to change. Field already set. Okay. Let's go take a look at the URL. Ah. Okay. What do we want to do? We want to say, I think we want to add a new case for source. I think that source should be URL page ref. I guess we can do self. Self page. So we give it another case, self page. And then in here, when you call ref, we set it to self page, and then we allow to change self page as if it was missing. That works for me. So, oh no, Windows wants to update shit. No, dude, go away. If this time works for you, fuck off. Okay, we're setting ref and says if source is null, set source to self page. If it is not null, I guess it should be like this: const or var source, const source. Although that doesn't really do much, does it? I guess we can do it like this. We can assert that this is present after we set it. And so we can say self page, we do nothing. Page, we do nothing. But for asset, side asset. Wait, did I really name it like this? Please tell me I didn't name it like this. Oh, yeah. Okay, so for these guys, we want to do stuff. So if it's one of those, we should complain. Cannot ref. Well, that's actually debatable. Can you deep link to something that isn't a page? You can actually deep link to things like PDFs. Can you not? I guess PDF is the only exception to the rule. You know what? I'll allow you to deep link. So what I'm wondering about right now is whether I should make it an error to try to deep link to an asset and not a page. So the idea is that you're able to do this in a scripty expression. You can do dollar, like you have foo, and that's like a link. We want to make this a link. So you do link dot I don't know, page about the about page, and then you do $ref and then form, and it brings you to, assuming there's something that has an ID equal form somewhere in the page, it brings you to that position. The problem is that these same facilities are also available to you for other things. So I'm not sure how this stuff should work. Let me think. Ref is only available on a link. So the link can do this work. I think we kind of need a validation step. Can we have something like this? Let's see, validate. Grabs mandatory. Grabs directive mandatory. You know what? I think this should be something like if it has its own validate, call its own validate. Yeah. I think this really simplifies things at this point. Because it means that we can leave this stuff completely alone. So all we do is set ref. And then instead of having this stuff, we have this. So here's what we do. Also needs self. Let's start by looking at must have. If it has source, then we switch source. And if it has source in its self page, well, actually, that's not it. No, I think we should start with ref. Okay, we'll come back to this if it makes sense. Let's start with ref. So if it has ref, and I guess this can just be different than null, then if source is null, self.source is self page. Perfect. And then down here we say, okay, let's look at source. And actually, you know, it's enough that it's missing. So if source missing call to URL, asset, site asset, build asset, or page. Yeah. So that should be good. Otherwise, return null. Okay, what do you say about this? Of course, complaints. Expected type pointer to context link found const pointer to link. Oh shit, it's being given to us as a const pointer? I guess we can then leave this here. So we set source only if it was null, and then here we don't do this. And this can be constant. I mean, that's fair. If it's validation function, we shouldn't be modifying stuff. Honestly, this is not. This is probably for the better. And if somehow source is null, then we complain. Wait, what is the problem here? The problem here is that if you're setting ref, but then you're linking to an asset, that was my original problem, I think. But then I decided that I wanted to allow it anyway, because if you really wanted to, then you could at least have it. Which must end all possibilities. Yeah. Wait, actually, which switch? Cache 925. Oh, yeah. No, that's the new case. Although... Wait, that cannot really be it, can it? Right, I'm missing things. Right, because I'm setting this here. By setting this here, I'm making it more complicated for the other guys. Yeah, no. This actually above was the better position for many reasons. Let's see if we can get a mutable pointer. Oh, fuck, that breaks. Type of V. Expected type. Oh. Expected type pointer context link found. It still const. Son of a bitch. It's because the directive itself is not being given to us as a pointer. Fair. Okay, I think that now we're good. But also, there is a place, which I don't remember which it is, where we need to resolve these things to URLs. Where are we doing this? You know what? I think the error is guiding us towards the promised land. 925. If it's a URL continue, what are we doing here? Oh, this is the code that transforms everything into an actual URL, right? Yeah, turns everything into a URL. That's perfect. So, but then there's also a res. So I guess we want to return a string. We're doing validation. Okay, all we're doing is validation. Okay. Oh man, can I do... Yeah, I can do it. Okay, we're in business. And that that previously complained now works as it should. Oof. Now, do we add a dep on code assets? Zoom, zoom. And the answer is no, we don't. I think this is actually an easy fix. Because it's one of these guys. Yeah, this is the code path. We do the highlighting, we do the embedding, we do the reading, but we're calling the asset finder, but we're not calling the asset collector on it. Although, wait, that's not the asset collector that we want. We need to, wait, are we supposed to add the dependency ourselves? Okay, so in theory, this now should correctly notice if I'm changing the zone file. Well, not immediately reload, because it's outside of our normal scopes, but yeah, this now rebuilds index correctly. Perfect. Okay, we have renaming markdown files. We have to double check the scripted reference docs. I think there's a couple mistakes here and there, but fix those mistakes and then we are in a pretty good position. So here's what I'm going to do though. I think I'm going to stop here the stream. It's been, what, 3 hours and a half. That's not bad. And I'm going to complete this work probably tomorrow. So I think that tomorrow we're probably going to be either ready or pretty much there for a new release of Zine. This is going to be big. This is going to be like the release that really seals the deal and makes the Zine like still unstable, but like genuinely useful tool that people can use to make websites, gaining a lot more than what they have to pay because of, you know, rough corners, not perfect, error messages, that kind of stuff. So yeah. Okay, thank you all for hanging out. And I think I'll see you next time. Let me see if there's anybody that I can read. Otherwise, I'm gonna call it a day. I don't think anybody's streaming as far as I can tell. Let me check this Twitch. Oh, Sphero is live. You know what? Go watch Sphero write a kernel regular expression module in Zig. That's going to be interesting.